You know how people who are tired of repeating the same thing over and over? Every year they said they were going to get better and they fall a little short. I teach people how to have their best year ever. All of that language is absolutely great. It's phenomenal. And it's guy speak. I get it. That probably works for guys. Listen, I've been doing this for 40 years, understanding human nature. I've been teaching people how to speak and communicate at a level of communication that's far beyond this me selling you. You're already sold on your dream. I just have to help you buy it. I hope that helps. I probably ticked him off. Again, those are big words. Do you use that language? You may use that language in general communication. I promise you, if you're talking to your buddies, you probably don't speak that way. I know I don't speak the way sometimes I do when I speak to my buddies. And what we're doing is we're looking to help people have more of what they want and less of what they don't. That's a great 7%. When you do public speaking, the words are 7%. That's a great 7%. But it's the other 93% that they're going to buy from. It's the other 93%. It's the tone. It's the smile. It's the pause. It's the connection. It's the rapport. It's the timbre. It's the tone. It's the pace. It's the speed. It's the volume. And all that to say, here's the thing that you need to understand. As good as that script, as good as that language is right there, it will activate somebody's amygdala who thinks they're less than you, and anybody you're probably sitting in front of thinks you're more successful than they are. So it's not that they think that you're some all that in a bag of chips. They think they're less successful than you, and it activates their amygdala and their limbic system and their hypothalamus, and the prefrontal cortex shuts down, and it literally loses blood flow to it because the body's getting ready to fight. The body's getting ready to go into fight or flight. See, we talk about the 3 F's, fight, flight, or freeze. Nobody talks about the 4th F. The 4th F is freedom. And we're going to have a conversation to help somebody get to that 4th F, the freedom. Does that make sense, y'all? Because I want you to not have to work harder. Sophistication is good. Sophistication is based on results and based on retention. I've only sponsored a handful of people in my lifetime in 24 years. I've built organizations of 300,000. I built an organization of a little over 35,000 in about 7 months in Latin America by sponsoring 2. Just 2. And the reason I say that is not to impress, right? We've all heard this, but to impress upon you. I don't go for no. I go for absolute, give me your heart because I'm going to give you an arm and a leg and everything I got. So I hope that helps. What other questions? Oh, there's a question here in the chat. Let's see here. Do I ever feel victim to my own? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. They're called triggers. Dre asked, do you ever feel victim to your own negative thoughts? Absolutely. On a daily basis, when I'm responding to 600-700 requests to connect from you all, there's a part of me that says, I'm not worthy of you guys. Why are you guys being so kind to me? Why are you guys being so nice to me? Then I have a conscious thought, and it says, because I deliver some damn good content. I deliver some information that's life-changing. And they want it. So yes, Drew, I do. We all suffer negative thoughts. That's why I became a teacher, a professor, if you will, of how to deal with negative self-talk. I became a teacher and an instructor of addiction to approval. And thought travels at 186,000 miles a second. You can have one negative thought and you activate 30 trillion cells that have been 40 trillion cells in your body that have been activated, and it's wired to remember a pattern. If water has memory, the The water in your body has a memory of some of the negative stories of your old. You could tell me a story right now of something in your childhood. You could tell me a story of something in your childhood, and you could break out in a sweat. How the heck are you? You're not 7 years old. You're not 12 years old. You're not 13 years old. How are you breaking out in a sweat? Why are you frustrated? Why are you agitated? Why is your body responding the way it does? Because this stuff is wired into your body. And every word you say can trigger somebody. And if you trigger them, and if you trigger one negative episode in their body at an unconscious level, at the subconscious level, they wind up shutting down. They will tell you consciously, yeah, I'm ready, let's go. Give me till Friday. On Friday, I'm ready to go, and then you can't get a hold of them. It's not your fault you triggered it. You've got to understand the triggers are there. You've got to understand how to set them up for when the trigger gets issued, that it's okay the trigger got issued because you didn't know it, but you've got to talk them off the ledge. You got to talk them off the cliff. You know what I do when somebody asks me what I do if I'm talking to if I know they're a mom? I teach moms, I help moms who are serious about taking care of their children's future education. I partnered with a company that'll pay for their future education. I partnered with a company that'll pay for all of your diapers and all of the formula for your little bambino. I've partnered with couples who are worried about, who are wanting to purchase their first home. I've partnered with a company that'll help them with their down payment. How do you do that? Very well, why do you ask? See, I build people, and people have projects. Most of us call them problems. I call them projects. So I've partnered with a company that helps people with their current project find a better solution. I think people might understand that more. At least in my world, they've understood that more. They found it easier to say yes to something. They found it easier to say, I want more of that, right? Joseph McClendon III, I was at an event of his in where was it? Kentucky, in Louisville. And he got on stage. He says, you know the thing that we want people to say? You know the thing we want people to do? Is we want people to say, I want more. I want some of that. When you say your whatever it is that you do, does somebody say, would the appropriate response sound like, I want some of that? See, we might have to keep it a little simpler. Just some suggestions, just some thoughts. Listen, you guys are probably way more successful than I am. I'm just throwing out some ideas. Let me look here. I didn't realize I had stopped the scrolling. Let me see here if there's other questions. Where should someone start with NLP? First of all, you got to promise to do no harm. The other thing I would start with NLP, before you go into NLP, I would encourage you to begin to learn to meditate. And the reason, I'm not saying go into the Zen mode of meditation, but to quiet yourself so that you can hear another human speak, so that you can sit without distraction, right? Again, it's easy to go learn NLP, but if your mind is running around like squirrels on a hamster wheel, you won't be able to effectively use NLP correctly. And the thing that would be best suited for you is to light a candle and stare at the flame and see how long you can stare at the flame before you just go nuts. If it's 4 hours, then great. Then you will probably don't even need NLP if you just start to listen to people. Let's see here. I have a lot of value, but don't know how to express it. Okay, Chairwoman, change that. Change that. Remember how it's always about the language. I have tremendous value, and expressing it comes easily. Who do I become when I express all of this tremendous value I have? And then all of a sudden the avenues open up. I would start doing I would go live every day. Now, live every day sounds like a lot, but go live for 5 minutes and say, hey, listen, it's tips and hacks from Chairwoman 750. Go for 7 minutes and 50 seconds. Whatever the 750 is, I think that's a rank number that's in your organization. But literally, do a live for 7 minutes and 50 seconds. And that becomes your brand. That becomes your